Well, good morning. It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day here. At least I'm doing this Friday, the end of the week. And this week I've taken a Post-it note that I keep on my desk to make conscious decisions about living, to give my mind focus each day. And I've taken one of the 5 things that I've got on that note and I've discussed them each day this week. I hope you've been here. I've talked about how important it is to live focused on love, to focus on enjoying life that God's given you in a responsible way, to talk about how important it is to work as unto the Lord, not as unto men. And then yesterday I talked about how important it is to worship, and today is number 5 on the list, and that's to talk about fellowship. When I think about fellowship, there are 2 things that come to my mind. First of all, the idea that we have a community of believers, and if you're not plugged into a community, you need to. But the Bible really focuses on 4 different levels of fellowship. And I try to focus on all 4 of those levels in my life. I urge you to do the same. One is that big corporate fellowship. The book of Hebrews talks about don't fail to come together because some do. And we should all come together. There's a power and an encouragement and a nourishment of life when we all come together to worship the Lord in fellowship as one. It's a unity. It's like Psalm 133, behold how good and pleasant it is when brothers and sisters dwell in unity. Paul talks in Ephesians 4:3 about being eager to maintain the bond of unity. There's just some power in a bunch of people being united in a cause. But that's not the only level of fellowship in the Bible. In the Bible, there's also talk about small group fellowship. You know, the early church would meet in houses most often, house to house to house. And there would be these small groups. At our church, we call them life groups. But it doesn't even have to be just at church to have some smaller group where there's a different level of intimacy and there's a different level of encouragement and a different level of nourishment. So you've got big church, you've got a smaller, and then there's a third level of just one-on-one fellowship. These are your best buds. These are the people, for me, you know, the list is long, but there are people where I uniquely love to have that one-on-one time with them. Unless Louis Miori's beating me in racquetball, and then I'm not really happy with that one-on-one time. But other than that, love that one-on-one time with my brothers who are able to encourage me and speak into my life and understand and share things that are going on a level that won't happen otherwise. You know, that's the whole idea behind James's statement that you confess your sins one to another. You know, I don't need to stand up in a public assembly and say, oh, listen to all I've done. But to be able to sit down with a brother and say, man, I'm really struggling with this right now. Would you pray for me? That's invaluable. And so this is also a shout out to all of those people who are those types of friends to me. I really deeply appreciate it. I won't call you out by name, but you know who you are. So those are 3 of the 4 levels. But if you'll notice, one is missing. What is the level of fellowship missing? It's the very first level that's most foundational, that's most critical to having nourishment and encouragement and strength for this life. And that's the level of each of us individually with God. I hope we think about our relationship with God as one of fellowship, one where we care about the other and know that the other cares about us. One where we spend time with others. You know, when I had COVID the second time, I basically went almost 2 weeks without being around my family, without being around my friends, without being around my coworkers, without being around my levels of fellowship. And it messed so many things up. I mean, I'm so far behind. I think a lot of people who don't know what I've been through think I probably hate their guts because I never call them or talk to them and all of this mess. And I'm trying to play catch up in those relationships as fast as I can, not just because I need the relationships, but because I want to be someone for others in those relationships. But in the meanwhile, the one relationship that I had no trouble keeping up at all was the one with the Lord. because it's a 24/7, 365 days. If you get COVID, you don't have to quarantine from God. God is a level of fellowship that we all need. If you don't have a relationship with God that involves daily communication, prayer, daily Bible study, daily reflecting, then you need one. And if you've got one, but you're not using it, you need to use it. You need to be in it. That's a fellowship on 4 different levels. And that's your video thought for the day to take you into the weekend. I'll see you on Monday, where I'm going to have a special video thought for the day for Martin Luther King Day. So I hope you'll join me for that. God bless you this weekend.